If you're a HVAC operator or business owner working 12 to 14 hours a day, constantly busy, but you still feel broke, then this episode is for you. Because today's guest has spent over 4 decades, 40 years in the HVAC industry, and he's seen exactly why so many good technicians struggle when they go out on their own. He's not only worked on the tools, he's actually been a technician, and now he's actually run technicians, and now he actually works for himself, actually helping people who are going out on their own. So John helps tradesmen who feel stuck. Some of them feel stuck because they're competing on price. Some feel stuck because they're doing everything themselves. Some feel stuck because they're building a business and it feels more like a job than what they thought it would. He's helping business owners shift from survival mode to building profitable, structured business that actually give them back their life. John, so cool to have you here today.
Great to be here, Louis.
John, tell us a little bit about your journey with regards to how you got into HVAC in the beginning.
I started out in 1985 in New Jersey, going to school for it, and then spent about 3 to 5 years in the New York, New Jersey area, and then moved out to California. I spent 30 years in California as a commercial HVAC technician and building automation systems
Wow.
integrator. Yeah, I worked my way up from technician all the way to service manager to department manager to business owner, done just about everything in between too.
Wow, that's incredible. Such a wealth of knowledge, eh? Like incredible. So tell me, you went on your own as a business owner, and at which point did you go, I'm amazing at being a HVAC technician, but this isn't enough for me to be a successful owner? Was there a turning point that actually where you actually went, I need help?
Yeah, there was a couple times where, first of all, I started my own contracting business right during the height of COVID
Okay.
in California. So that was
Oh,
just
wow.
a complete nightmare. But almost immediately I realized I'm much better at being out in the field than actually running a business, even with years of management experience.
Yeah.
It just wasn't enough. And so when my wife and I decided to leave California and move over here to Tennessee, where we've been for 5 years now, I decided to shelve the business and just go back to work for somebody because, first of all, I didn't know this area at all. And I needed to get to know customers, vendors, competition, who's the big players are and all that. And so I did that for about 3 years, 4 years, and then had an issue with my left arm. I had a tumor in my left arm that had to be extricated, and so unfortunately, I had my arm amputated. So that kind of ended my field career, which was pretty devastating because HVAC is in my blood. It's literally what I've done for my entire life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a wake up call.
Wow.
So
Wow.
instead of investing in trying to start or restart my business as a contractor, especially when I couldn't actually do most of the work, I decided I'm going to set that aside and start doing a business training and coaching business to
Yeah.
help relatively new HVAC contractors get out of that technician mindset that most are in when they first start their own business. That's usually where they're at.
Yeah.
They're the specialist, right? Without them out in the field, there is no business. So I try to help them. 'Cause the problem with that is eventually they're going to run into a ceiling. There's only
Yep.
so many hours in the day and so many days in a week that you can
Yeah.
work. So
Yeah.
If you're the one doing all the work out in the field, you're in the business. You're not working on the business. So
100%. 100%.
I try to help them transform from that mindset to a business owner mindset. And
Yeah.
some of the things that go along with that, like strategies, pricing strategies, hiring strategies, retention strategies, training, onboarding, reviews, all that kind of stuff that you got to do, automation, bookkeeping, just there's so much to actually owning and running a business.
Yeah.
Um, that's what I want to help with.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So why do you think so many HVAC business owners end up working hours like heaps longer than if they actually just worked for a boss?
Because what happens is most of these guys don't ever even make it to management level working for somebody, right?
Mm,
So
mm.
they've learned their trade, they're good at it. They're good at their trade and go out on their own. Usually they start doing side jobs and things like that. And that becomes lucrative and they think I ought to be doing this on my own. I don't need a boss. I'll be my own boss, right?
Yeah.
That's usually how it starts. But the problem with that is that yeah, they might know their trade, but do they know how the business actually
Mm,
operates and how to
yeah.
grow it and how to scale it?
Mm,
A lot of people don't know that. I didn't know it when I first started my own business.
yeah. Wow. And so why do so many of the HVAC owners struggle to charge what they actually worth? Why are they discounting their prices and having this price war?
So the biggest problem is your market dominating position. If you're not at the top of the list when people Google HVAC near me, you're, let's say you're 2 pages in or whatever, you've got to fight to get seen.
Yeah.
And oftentimes you're competing on price. And price is actually the worst thing to compete on because you're always going to find people that shop around for based on price and have no loyalty whatsoever to you. Even if you do happen to have the lowest price that time, doesn't mean they're going to use you again. That's a bad way. That's a bad pricing strategy to work off of competition. The better idea is to create a dominating position in your market because HVAC, just like plumbers and electricians and everybody else, they're all trades. They're based locally, right?
Yeah.
You might have a radius that you're willing to work in,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you're basically local. And with HVAC, there's dozens of competitors, right? So if you're trying to compete on price, there's
Mm,
always somebody that's going to be cheaper than you.
yes.
So the idea is to show your value,
Okay.
show your value proposition and what makes you the obvious choice. That's where we always have to start. And then from there, pricing becomes secondary. In fact, you can usually price out the people that are just shopping around, right?
Yeah.
That aren't going to be loyal to you, that aren't
Yeah.
very good customers. They're the ones that complain about the price and then they complain about the job and then they just complain.
Yeah.
They're just
Yeah.
complainers, right? No, those are not the kind of customers you want. You want to get good quality customers that are loyal to you, and you do that by extolling value.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. When you started out your own HVAC business, at which point do you need to build systems and start thinking about hiring people to help you? Is there a point where you go, that's the point, that's this is the exact point?
The best time to do it is
Mm,
before, while you still
okay.
have a while you still have a full-time job. Plan ahead. I try to teach that the first thing you should be doing is writing out a business plan. And the big key is, where do you want to be in a year and a half?
Yeah.
And the opposite of that is, where don't you want to be in a year and a half, right?
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
should be writing both of those things down because they're both really important to keep in the forefront of your thinking. So the problem is that if you don't do this before you start, then you're out there working full time, most of the time out in the field, right?
Yeah.
And then you're coming home and you're missing dinner, and you're having to take calls that you missed during the day, and you got to do estimates and maybe finish up paperwork and get some billing out, right?
Yeah.
Are you doing all this stuff that's not directly producing revenue,
Yeah.
but it's costing you time?
Yeah.
And so, when are you going to have time to start planning out the business is the question. So, like right now, I'm working with a guy in California that he works full time for somebody, and he's afraid. He has his contractor's license, but he's using his business as a side job,
Mm.
right? Because he's still working full time. I'm putting him through this 8-week course right now that goes over all these mindset shifts and things that a business owner really needs to think about before starting the business,
Yeah.
as to like how you're going to price things, how are you going to hire, how are you going to retain people, how are you going to train them,
Yeah.
do you have systems and SOPs in place, safety documents,
Yeah.
vehicle documents, all these things that you're going to have in place when you do get ready to hire somebody.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Wow.
so a lot of people I meet get stuck in, well, I'm working full time and I'm generating some pretty good revenue.
So, John, if somebody keeps doing what they've been doing up to now and they're underpricing and they're overworking, what will their HVAC business look like in 3 to 5 years?
That's the thing. If they're stuck working in the business, there's a ceiling. It can only go so far, right? Unless they're doing well enough where they can hire more people, right? Because every truck that's out there full time can produce 175 to $250,000 a year,
Mm.
right? So they really can't afford not to hire somebody,
Yeah.
additional techs, right? But then who's doing maybe they got lucky and their wife is running the show at the office, right? I mean,
Yeah.
one can wish, right? I know a couple guys that that's the way they do it, and it works well, right?
Yeah.
But not everybody has that. And what do you do to work on the business? Who do you have working on the business while you're out taking calls all the time?
Mhm.
And the bigger problem with all that is, what happens when you are not available? Like,
Yeah.
what if
Or something
something
happens to
happens to
you. Hey.
you?
Yeah.
Yeah, what if something happens to you? What if your parents die or something? You got to take off for a month or so.
Yeah. Yeah.
What happens to the business then? Are you still generating money?
Yeah.
So that's the big conundrum with being a business owner, but still being the specialist.
Yeah. Wow.
There's no value to your business if you remove you and the business fails. Then there's no value really to the business. You are the business.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Amazing.
I try to teach people to get out of that mindset
Okay.
and into a business owner mindset.
Yeah. Wow. So on the flip side, somebody's overworked and they're overwhelmed and they're not making very much money and they go, I can't really afford John, but they get out there and they get you. What will their business look like in 3 to 5 years? if they follow your guidance and they follow your direction.
We're going to work on a number of things like market dominating position,
Yeah.
cost of goods sold, marketing, drip campaigns, lead generation, website design, SEO, search engine optimization, not just search engines now, but also AI, because
Yeah.
a lot of people, a lot of younger people are using AI. I'm a Google guy myself
Yeah.
from years and years of using Google, but a lot of people aren't even using that anymore. They're using ChatGPT and
Mm,
Claude or whatever,
absolutely.
Perplexity.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
So search engine optimization is also AI optimization.
Yeah.
You got to make sure you're climbing the scales in both worlds, right?
Completely. Okay. I
Yeah.
love it.
So it's basically, and then the big thing is teaching them how to price so that they're not poverty pricing themselves out
Yeah.
of being able to survive, right? Because the tragic fact in this modern world is that most businesses fail, and half of them fail within 5 years. 9 out of 10 fail within 10 years.
Yeah.
So to be that one that makes it,
Yeah.
it takes a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not just
100%.
gonna you're not just gonna luck into it. It takes some real thought and action.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And the thing that I bring to the table with just about anybody running a business is one, strategy, and two, accountability. So those are the two things that, a business coach or trainer or consultant can help a business with.
Yeah.
It's one thing I could give you all kinds of great advice, but if you don't have somebody checking up on you and making sure you're actually taking the actions
Yeah. Yeah.
necessary,
Yeah.
how well are you going to really do?
Wow.
I can tell you that this year I've had a number of, let's say, new ventures that I've been looking into. And if it didn't feel right, it didn't feel right. But often it was just, hey, I'm just too overwhelmed with stuff. And it's hard to keep up with
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
different things, all the shiny objects that are
Oh,
coming up.
unbelievable. And especially now with the software and AI, and
Oh
there's like
yeah.
10 new ones every single day, and you can't
Yeah.
even start to keep up. So,
Yep.
but
And everything's on a subscription now. So
yeah.
you have to have some kind of capital to even get started
Yeah.
because nothing good is free.
Yeah. Yeah. If they don't charge you for the product, you are the product.
Yes.
That is it. That is it.
Yep.
So, John, just for someone who's sitting there listening right now and they're feeling stuck and they're in that cycle, what are the first steps they should do? What should they be doing?
The first thing is seeking out somebody to help, right?
Okay.
Even I have 40 years in the trade and I've run a couple of my own businesses. I still have mentors
Yeah.
and coaches, people that help me see things clearly, right? And then offer that accountability. Sometimes it's just about either asking questions or making statements to somebody else, and then that generates ideas, right? For example, I have an actual comedy house I'm working with, and I was telling him that I don't think he's pricing his stuff based on true cost.
Yeah.
He's basing it more on the general market in that area, which
Yeah.
is, again, that's not a good way of pricing things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he wasn't taking into account all of the expenses he had and looking at gross and net profit margin. He actually he asked the question. He said, so is there anything out there that can is there any kind of true cost pricing software? So I started looking into it, and actually ended up building my own spreadsheet that
Okay.
helps with pricing, with
Yeah.
all, and based on his 2025 P&L. So I take that, whatever business I'm going to work with, I need to have a document, the basic accounting documents, P&L or income statement, cash flow
Okay.
report, balance sheet. And with those, I can figure out where the business is at right now.
Yeah.
Then,
Yeah.
then the first question is always, where do you want to be in a year and a half? Right?
Yeah.
And where don't you want to be in a year and a half? And
Great questions.
flesh those out. And then, because you gotta set goals for yourself.
Yeah.
Whatever you're doing, you got to set goals for yourself.
Totally.
So, and visualizing that stuff and making it real is what actually makes it real.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Perfect. Perfect.
yeah, so that I have a 8-week program,
Okay.
training program that I use for struggling HVAC owners that are doing probably at least 10,000 a month up to maybe 2 million.
Okay.
That's about as high as I'll go. Usually the people making 2 million or more, they need a coach a little bit more experienced in the booming business arena, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I try to help people get started really and I'm focused on the guys that are struggling to figure it out.
Okay. Sounds amazing, John. Really cool. So how would they reach out to you? What's the best way to get hold of you? How do they find out about your program? What's that look like?
So my card is right there, my
Okay, cool.
digital business card,
Yep.
and that has my calendar and some of the things I offer and am affiliated with. So I have a number of resources, referral partners, whatever you want to call them. So when I bring something to light that's in the business, like basically a red flag, a problem that needs to be solved, I may not myself have all the answers, but I have people that I work with that can help, like you.
Awesome. Awesome. That's amazing. So like
Yeah. Like
finances.
digital marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I got somebody that needs help with marketing, I'm gonna send them to you.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So, John, this is great. This has been really cool. Thank you so much. I think that the HVAC business is such an important part of our industry, important part of our economy, and an important part of our lives. If we can't get
Yeah.
heating and cooling, we can literally die.
And it's one of those jobs or trades that's never going to be taken fully
No,
away by AI, right? You don't have to worry about it. So if you're
100%.
in the trade, I'm telling you right now, trades are the way to go.
Yeah.
It's a crapshoot if you go to college and earn a degree. Are you still going to be a necessity
Yeah.
10, 15 years from now? Nobody
100%.
knows. Nobody
100%.
knows.
Yeah.
Corporate people are getting axed all the time. Tradesmen, I'm telling you right now, we're in a huge shortage of tradesmen.
Yeah.
So even the well run booming companies are having a hard time finding talent.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's definitely the way to be, and a lucrative trade that it's been my entire life, and I absolutely love it.
I love
So
it. I love it.
yeah,
That is so cool, John. That's so cool. Look, if you're a HVAC business owner or you're thinking about becoming a HVAC business owner, definitely reach out to John. We'll put all the links in the bottom, in the comments. Reach out. John, can they just have a free coffee with you and just have a chat, or is that
yeah.
something that you do?
Oh, I do free half-hour strategy sessions with anybody that needs help.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. All right. John, thank you so much. Really appreciate your time today. This has been fantastic. Really appreciate you.
Yeah. Great to talk to you, Louis.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks. Bye.